The truth is, history is not going to be on the side of those companies that didn't invest enough to move into the new world quickly enough, and probably are not going to be a big force moving forward.
Hey guys, how's it going? Lee here. In this video, we're going to go over Cathie Wood's thoughts on the Reddit phenomenon, and also in particular GameStop and AMC stock and how they've affected the bond market in general. Now before we get into the video, all I ask is that you just lightly tap the like button down there and subscribe if you haven't already. Without further ado guys, let's get straight into it.
And that's what's happening with Reddit, GameStop, and Robinhood. And here's what she had to say.
Well, I find it very interesting. I've been looking at millennials in the workforce, or we've been looking. So it looks like a third of the workforce is millennials, and that's going to 75%. I started in the business in the 80s when the baby boomers were coming of age. And there was a strategist, Stan Selvigsen, Merrill Lynch, may he rest in peace. He drew expectations for demographics, baby boomers as a share of the workforce. And what happened was he believed that meant they'd be much more attracted to equities and that they would drive equities up. Now, here we are, the millennials are going from 33% of the workforce now to 75%. There's a tremendous intergenerational wealth transfer, the biggest we've ever seen in history. So they're going to control a lot more than even the baby boomers did at the time. And I think it means positive, that there are positive ramifications for both the equity markets and the crypto markets, both of which millennials have taken, in which many have taken an interest. So the GameStop and, let's get the hedge funds. One of the interesting things about this is they're actually aiding and abetting, and I don't think you've heard this anywhere else, they're aiding and abetting the bond bubble. What is happening? What is happening? These companies that are left for dead by innovation, by the way, are selling, some of their bonds are selling at 25 cents on the dollar. They're dead as doornails in many, even bond investors' eyes. Once you drop below 75 on a bond, 75 cents to the dollar, the risk of bankruptcy looms large. So now some of these companies are refinancing. They're actually accessing the equity markets. They're not refinancing their debt. They're right now, they will. They're accessing the equity markets, and their bond prices are skyrocketing. They're tripling. I think it was AMC. Their bond price has just gone from 25 cents to 75 cents. Now, if you ask me, a student of innovation, maybe there's a shot of survival here, and maybe more so now that they've been able to do an equity offering, which they could not have done 2 weeks ago. Maybe, but I would not be putting my money there. I want to be on the right side of change. That's what ARK is all about. Do I like a two-sided market? I disagree. I agree with Elon Musk on almost everything, certainly in terms of technology. But on this point that short sellers are a negative for the market, and ARK, who were terrorized during Tesla's plunge during 2019, if you have the courage of your conviction, and our courage comes from research, back then, what did we do during that plunge when many speculators were saying they're going to run out of money? Our simple question was, how can that be? The markets have not shut down. And sure enough, they did an offering. Was it at a lower price than many of us would have liked? Sure, but it was small compared to the ones they've done recently. We bought all the way down. It was a gift for us to have those short raids.
Everything you're doing is based on research. And I think with these meme stocks, people are saying, well, what's the research? Like, what are they doing this on, right? These companies, you want to be on, as you said, the right side of innovation. So has this exposed, I mean, some people think it's exposed a systemic risk to free markets, and others think it's the very definition of free markets.
Yes, well, I
Where
believe.
does it fall?
Oh yeah, no. Truth will win out here, and the truth is, history is not going to be on the side of those companies that didn't invest enough to move into the new world quickly enough, and probably are not going to be a big force moving forward. So one of the things that I did find interesting, I didn't know that a stock could be, or that 140% of the float of a stock could be short. That was a surprise to me. And so I think that hedge funds, or whomever is shorting, it's not just hedge funds, there are all kinds of investors shorting out there. It's going to be interesting to see if they will stay or if they will move to such what I believe was an outrageous position relative to the float out there. So kind of in a way, they might have seen this coming. And I do know that the one firm that got in trouble was I guess the Reddit folks were focused on the listed puts of the, now what's unfortunate about that is they probably don't know much about OTC puts, over the counter puts. Those are opaque, they can't see them. All this move will do is push all of that market over the counter, which is extremely profitable for banks, but it's more expensive for the end investors. So it's a little unfortunate. As an investor, I always like to hear the other side of the argument. And that's the other unfortunate thing that's going on here, I think. There are people now afraid to talk about why they're bearish on certain stocks. If during our Tesla 2019 experience, if we didn't have the cacophony of investors, sell side, buy side, retail, institutionals, putting down Tesla, we wouldn't have gotten the opportunities to buy it that we did. And we wouldn't have understood how much those investors did not understand what was going to move the stock. That helped us. And if their voices are shut down, I think that will be doing a disservice to all investors, because I want to know, what are the arguments against this position? Clearly, we're missing something, but we weren't when it came to Tesla.